Alright guys, welcome back to another video. This is very delayed, and when I wanted to put it out, I just wrapped up my year of college, so finally have some free time again. So today I'm going to talk about the NFL Draft, a bit about the schedule release, and kind of what's happened recently. So let's just talk about the draft to start out things. So I'm going to just kind of go over the first round and then also over my team's draft. I'm a Vikings fan, and I just kind of know more about that draft. I don't want to sound like an ignoramus, but I'll also talk about some picks that I thought were interesting from other teams. So first overall pick, Joe Burrow. That was pretty expected. I thought that was a good pick for the Bengals franchise. I don't think that it can go too poorly for them, but it's the Bengals. We'll see. I thought the Redskins made the absolute correct choice in not trading down and taking Chase Young. I think that he's going to be a huge player on that defense for 10 years as long as they can keep him in Washington. I expected the Lions to draft Jeff Okudah out of Ohio State. Thought that was a good pick for them. Not excited though as a Vikings fan to have another good corner inside the NFC North. Trying to talk about the next pick. I guess the next interesting pick would be Miami taking Tua. I think that's a good pick for them. I just hope that he can stay healthy. If he can, I think that might just be the steal of the draft. Chargers took Justin Herbert. Thought that was an okay fit. I think he's a good player, but I feel like he's really risen a lot in a short amount of time. So I'm worried that this could be not a Mitch Trubisky type situation, but one where he was maybe overpicked. I think that the Chargers needed a quarterback, and they kind of just fell in his lap, but I wouldn't have been upset if they took a offensive lineman here and tried to roll with Tyrod. Next pick that I thought was of note was Cardinals taking Isaiah Simmons. Thought that was awesome that they fell in his lap. I was surprised that Carolina didn't take him with the previous pick when they select Derek Brown, but Derek Brown is going to be an absolute beast too. So really couldn't have gone wrong with either player. C.J. Henderson went next. That was a pretty good pick. The big unexpected one in my mind was freaking the Raiders taking Henry Ruggs III. No disrespect to him. He's probably going to be a good player in the league. But I think that you just take the best wide receiver overall available there. I really would have liked to have seen, Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb go there. I think that would have been a better fit overall. But if they think that he's a scheme fit and that if it works, good for them. I will wait until we get to see them play before I really make any final decisions, because right now it's just what if, right? I thought that it made the Tampa Bay Bucks made a good trade with just getting Wirfs, because that 49ers tackle ended up retiring. They ended up getting Trent Williams, but definitely I think that was worth getting their guy, and for Wirfs to fall down to them must have been really exciting for Brady. 49ers picked up Kinlaw. That wasn't too unexpected. And then the Broncos got Jerry Jeudy to fall in their laps. In my opinion, the best wide receiver in the draft. So good for them. And all my Broncos friends are really excited. So I'm sure that will pay dividends in the future. And then AJ Terrell taken next. I just wasn't sure that was the best pick for them right there. Like I said, I'll wait until people play, and maybe I'm incorrect, but I felt like there were some better options there. And then for the Cowboys to get CeeDee Lamb along with Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup, oh man, that's good for them, man. I don't like the Cowboys, but that's starting to look like a pretty dang loaded offense. The only question is, can they play defense? So we'll see we'll see what happens there. The next unexpected pick was the 19th overall pick, and they selected Damon Arnett. I believe that was also the Raiders. I wasn't a huge fan of that pick. I think that there's better options there, but if they have their guy, they got their guy. Next interesting one, I would say would be at 21, the Eagles selected Rager over Justin Jefferson, which I was, as a Vikings fan, I was really hoping that Jefferson would somehow fall to us, and he did. But I didn't think that Rager... okay, let's be fair here. Justin Jefferson had Joe Burrow thrown to him, and that was huge for Jefferson, I imagine, compared to having not the best play at TCU for their quarterback. And I'm a Big 12 fan, so I watched the Big 12, and definitely a huge skill gap in the quarterbacks there. So maybe Rager is what the Eagles need. Maybe he's more of a scheme fit. I imagine that's the only reason why you take Justin Jefferson over, or Jalen Rager over Justin Jefferson. And then my Minnesota Vikings selected with the 22nd overall pick, Justin Jefferson. I thought that was a home run for them. We needed a wide receiver after losing Diggs. And I think that he was the best one available. I was very excited for him to fall to us. And hopefully things will pan out and I get to watch him play this season. Anything else that I thought was interesting up until... I thought that the 49ers made a good trade with us. We were originally going to take it at 25. But, they ended up taking Brandon Ayuk out of ASU. I think that he's going to be a really good wide receiver from what I've read. I haven't really watched a lot of ASU football, but from what I've read, he might be better than N'Keal Harry. So best of luck to him. And the 49ers are already looking scary again, unfortunately. And then the most unexpected pick of the night by far, the Packers trade up to select Jordan Love, quarterback, Utah State University. That was interesting. As a Vikings fan, I'm glad because it's not helping their prospects of winning now. But if they're right on Jordan Love and he ends up being their third Hall of Fame quarterback in a row, I'm going to not be a happy camper. They have not missed on a quarterback in a long time. They've not had bad quarterback play since like the early 90s, man. Or even, I'm not even sure the early 90s, but way before I was alive. Ever since I've been alive, they've had great quarterback play. So hoping that he doesn't pan out with the Packers. I wanted to have a good career in the NFL, just not with the Packers. Definitely cool for him to be able to learn under Aaron Rodgers. I think that Aaron Rodgers will be more receptive to him than Brett Favre was to him, just because he's been through that same exact situation with the same exact team. So definitely be interesting to keep a watch on that. And I think that Rodgers is probably going to end up being traded in the next 2 years or so. Whether that's him forcing himself out or if a team makes a good offer. Potential landing spots could be Dallas next year, maybe the 49ers, depending on how the whole Jimmy G situation turns out. I'm trying to think who else. I hope not New England, but that's a possibility. Maybe Jacksonville. I don't really see him wanting to go there. I wouldn't say the Chargers. I'm trying to think of what other teams. I think that those would be the main lane spots. Maybe Las Vegas Raiders. That's definitely a possibility, depending on how the whole Derek Carr situation plays out. They'll have some weapons there. So, definitely interesting to see what will happen there. Maybe the Saints trade for him. Could you imagine if the Saints got Rodgers right after Breeze? Oh my goodness. Alright. Next pick, I thought Patrick Queen pick was really good. Oh, actually the one before that was Jordan Brooks out of Texas Tech University. Go TTU. Wreck him. But, I'm really excited for him to get into the league. I think that Seattle liked their guy to take him over Patrick Queen. So, hopefully that they can turn him into a pretty stud linebacker. That'd be fantastic for him. I think that's a really good landing spot for him. Really good situation. And then the next pick was Patrick Queen. I think that's a pretty home run right there. Isaiah Wilson was taken next. I thought that was a good pick. And then the next pick I'm going to talk about is the Vikings selecting Jeff Gladney out of TCU. I can't say I expected this pick. I thought that there were some corners that I personally liked more. But I like the guy out of Utah. I forgot his name. It's been about a few weeks since the draft. But like the guy out of Utah, just watching a bit of his tape. But I think that Jeff Gladney will be a good fit for our team. It sounds like that he's a bit of a dog, has that competitive edge. I know that Zimmer is kind of the DB guru, and if that's their guy, that's their guy. And I have confidence in Zimmer. And I wish all the luck to him. Hopefully it'll turn out well for both parties. And then to cap off the first round, the Chiefs selected Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I was not expecting him necessarily to go. I wasn't shocked if there was going to be a running back selected, but I didn't think it was going to be him. I was thinking maybe more Swift, but Uh, Andy Reid likes his guy, and Andy Reid obviously knows how to make a good offense. Everyone looked at him crazy trading up for Patrick Mahomes, go Mahomes boy, but they made it work, and he looks like the best quarterback in the league right now. So I'm not gonna be one to doubt Andy Reid. And then Jalen Hurts ended up going to the Eagles in the second round, and that was definitely a surprise. I did not expect that to happen. I think that part of it is an insurance package for Jalen Hurts, or not for Jalen Hurts, for Carson Wentz, because he seems like he's always getting hurt, unfortunately. Ironic. And I think that if he ends up staying healthy, I think that sitting behind Carson Wentz, they can probably maybe flip him for a first round pick if he shows well like preseason, or if he gets an opportunity to play a game or two. I think that they might be able to flip him for a first. So that might be more of a long term value play, but we'll see what happens. I like Jalen Hurts. I think that he could be a good quarterback in this league, but definitely not the landing spot I anticipated. I was hoping that maybe he could fall into the third round and maybe sit behind Kirk, but oh well. And then I thought the Vikings overall had a really good draft. I was not too pleased on how often they traded down. We ended up having 15 picks in the draft, the most since the draft was 7 rounds. But I like a lot of the guys that we selected. I thought that we got a good tackle in the second round. Actually, same school, Boise, as Alexander Madison, so there's some familiarity there. I like the cornerback we got out of the third round. I think that he could be potentially maybe a slot cornerback. I'm not sure. Definitely seems like he has some potential. He was the only corner that really gave Joe Burrow a tough time this season. So hopefully that can carry over into the NFL and give some other NFL quarterbacks a tough time this season. And then next, I'm kind of going to talk about the schedule release. I thought that the schedule release was pretty exciting. It's a tough time in the world right now, and for a schedule release to be exciting as it was is cool for football. But I wouldn't mind seeing the NBA going on right now. But hey, you get what you get. I'm a big nerd of the schedule release. I thought that I'm just primarily going to talk about the Vikings schedule here, and maybe some other games I happen to remember. I think that week 1 will be pretty fascinating for a few teams. I think that Drew Brees, Tom Brady, week 1, let's go, let's see it. I'm excited for that one. Can't miss that game. Vikings Packers week 1. I'm pretty excited for that game. I think that Texans Chiefs to kick off the season will definitely be interesting. I think that the Texans are going to get their butts kicked, but I love Watson, man. I really like his competitiveness, his never give up attitude. He really seems like he's a baller. He really seems like he wants to win. I just don't think that Bill O'Brien is a good enough coach or GM to be both or any of those things. So I think he kind of gets screwed over there. I think that Cowboys-Rams will be an interesting game. I'm not sure if any of those teams actually have good seasons. I think that they're kind of on the verge of being really good or really mediocre. So I think that'll be an interesting game. I think that week 2, Chiefs-Chargers. Basically, anytime the Chiefs are playing, I think it's going to be a really good game. And also week 2, we get to see Ravens and Texans play. I think that that'll be a pretty fun game. I thought that, oh yeah. So as a Vikings fan, we have the unfortunate ability to play against Seattle in Seattle prime time for the last 3 years. We're doing that again. This time it's on a Monday night though. It's on Sunday night, which I guess is okay. But man, it'd be nice to be able to play them at home for once. And then it'll definitely be interesting to see if stuff has to get delayed because of the coronavirus. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case or not. I think that the Vikings playing against the Saints on Christmas is going to result in one state and or one of 2 states not having a very happy Christmas. Hoping that that's not my state, hoping that that's not my family that has to watch my team lose and then have a fun, or quote-unquote fun Christmas the rest of the day. I know my dad's not going to be a happy camper if that's the case. I think that was interesting because the Vikings have actually finished against the Chicago Bears like the last 4 or 5 seasons, and now we're finishing against the Lions. I think that definitely is more favorable for us because if we have to win to get in, I feel a lot better about winning against the Lions than I do winning against the Bears. So with the season wrapping up, I think that the most important matchups will probably be between, I think it's the NFC East. Well, those matchups always matter towards the end of the season because I don't think any of those teams are that much better than each other outside of the Redskins. I think that they're definitely lagging behind a bit just because they still have that huge question mark at quarterback. Titans and Texans is probably going to be very significant. Saints and Panthers might matter. It might be like positioning for the Saints. Chargers Chiefs I think is going to matter. Steelers Browns might actually be winning you get in kind of deal, which is pretty interesting. Packers and Bears week 17, I think that that's going to be a really significant game for both teams. Seahawks 49ers, that might be positioning, that might be win to get in kind of deal. Maybe winning the division, very interesting. Raiders Broncos I don't really think is going to matter. And then Cardinals Rams, that might be like, hey, 7th seed of the playoffs, who's ready to get in? Because I'd love to see Kyler Murray in the playoffs personally. I'd rather see that over the Rams get into the playoffs. That's just me. But yeah, those are the primary points I want to talk about in this video. Thank you for watching or listening. Basically just listening. Next video will be Draft Champions Part 3. We'll be uploading that not immediately, but in the next couple of days. So look out for that if you're actually watching this video. And thank you for tuning in. Leaving a like or comment would be much appreciated. If you have any thoughts on what I had to say, hey, you're an idiot, or hey, I actually agree with that, let me know. I'm always open for feedback. And yeah, I hope that y'all are staying safe and have a good one.